Are we really?
We just started.
Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Good evening. Welcome back to Mik'd Up.
We started about 3 minutes ago.
Friday, I hope not. Oh, God, I hope not. It's Friday, September 9th. We're brought to you by Sterling Automotive. We're also live from our usual Friday spot at Uncle Earl's. I appreciate all the people at Uncle Earl's giving us this opportunity. Here's the deal, though. We promised them a hyped up happy hour on Fridays leading into the weekend. I understand people are a little upset about the game last week. I understand maybe some people don't have as much hype behind the game this weekend, and I can accept that. I'll give you that. It's our first home game. You know, you don't really trying to feel it out. Hey, next weekend we have Mississippi State at home, first home SEC weekend, right? Everybody's going to be a little bit hungry. Hopefully, you see a good product on the field this weekend. Kind of gets the hype back up. You're playing Mississippi State at home, winnable game. You would expect to win the game at home. Everybody needs to be a little bit excited, have a little bit of juice and energy. Channel that juice and channel that energy and come in here at Uncle Earl's and drink the juice that they have behind the bar.
A lot of energy back there, too.
A lot of what?
Energy back there.
A lot of energy back there. A lot of energy on the show, right? We have an open tab on the show. That tab will be open until you exhaust it, which I hope is within the first 5-10 minutes because we have that many people in here. We're going to talk to Earl's.
Awful.
We're going to create some really cool specials, hopefully for next weekend. I know that the GM is right there. He's walking out. We'll talk to him when he comes in. We'll get some drinks, some drink specials, some things. Hopefully, maybe we can get something to give away. But let's bring some energy in here. Let's give these guys let's let them have a little fun. You know, they're giving us an opportunity. Come have fun with us. Talk shit to us. Give us your takes. We love to argue. So let's give us your takes and let's talk about it. You know, everybody's been talking about it. Let's talk about it. So yeah, come have fun with the boys. The last couple of weeks we've had some people show up, which has been fun.
Is it the weather, you think, or is everybody getting ready for the game?
I just think it's been the summer. You know, there's really nothing
No,
to
about
like.
Today, or is it just everybody's down because?
I think everybody's down because of the game, and I think that they're not as hyped about the Southern game. Which, by the way, I think this weekend's going to be really fun.
I think it's gonna be great.
And you know, it's the city of Baton Rouge. You get to play a team in the same city. The city gets to come together, have a good time, tailgate together, have fun together, and I'm willing to. I think that's a great way to start off the home schedule, and I think that it's going to be really fun. Obviously, the halftime show is going to be probably the most electric halftime show that LSU's probably ever had, right? It's not Battle of the Bands. Our band director made sure to announce that it's not a battle of the bands, which I don't think that would be a battle. I think that would be more of a slaughtering if it was.
Yeah, that's like coming at Eminem on a
obviously,
diss track.
our band is extremely.
No, I don't want it.
Hey, listen, our band. I say our band. LSU's band. I guess that's our. I'm an alumnus. I'm played sports here. I guess I can say our band, right? Our band, LSU's band.
They play a baseball game?
No, but they play at LSU, right? Like
I don't know. That's a weird rule.
You know what I mean?
But
like I wouldn't say our like I'm like
I would, the band
LSU's band.
LSU's band.
LSU's band
Let
is
the band be the
extremely talented. They're very, very good at what they do. They're entertaining, and I am not meaning slight at all to our band. But the Southern band, like that's what they're known for. People go in the past, I don't know how it is now, would go to games to watch the band, which is opposite of most schools.
First-hand experience. Ain't many people getting up to go get nachos and popcorn and stuff at a Southern game at halftime.
My point. You don't see many empty seats, right? So there's different.
It ain't really break time.
Different types of entertainment. One may be a little bit more electric. Not maybe is a little bit more electric than the other. Both very good in their own respected ways. I am looking forward to the other one that's electric.
I think
Matter of fact, if you go to a Southern game there, you usually get up around like the 5-minute mark in the second quarter. So you might miss the 2-minute drive.
I missed the last drive
because I got to be back.
No doubt
for the band. Yeah.
No doubt. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be really, really fun. I will be out there tailgating. It's the first tailgate of the year. You know, go and get the sights and sounds and smells. It's a good dry run before the SEC slate starts the next weekend.
I don't know how dry it's going to be.
You know, go see.
That's true.
Hey, if you're young and you're just now getting LSU and you're new to the
You got in a wreck today.
and you got that was a bad day. We'll talk about that. Hey, these poor college kids,
Not
bro.
my fault.
Their weekend got ruined. They had a bad wreck. All airbags deployed. 3 dudes, just frat boys, younger. sure just young and just real go hard and made a little mistake maybe. They're sitting down on the ledge of a fence by this big ass house on Stanford, talking to the cops. It was not
how you want to start.
Not how you want to start the weekend. But hey, listen, if you are new to the tailgating game, and you are, don't really know your limitations, this is a good dry run for you.
It's a terrible dry run for you.
No, let me finish. Because you go to the game, you can go tailgate. Maybe you realize, okay, I can't have 15 vodka Sprites, or I can't have 22 Jello shots by the time 12 o'clock happens, because I'm not going to make it to the game that night. And you may not make it to the game. You may have a little sickness, and you may have to be taken home, and you may not be able to go, right? Okay, now you've realized it. You may not be upset because you missed a Southern.
It's week 0.
Game. You may not be upset. Now, next weekend, you'd make the same mistake and you missed the first SEC game. Oh, you're probably a little upset because you want to be on TV maybe in the student section with your shirt off and doing things, but you got too drunk and you didn't. Good dry run this weekend. Go out there and have some fun. Show a good time, but
wear a poncho.
Learn how. As Louisiana,
don't take the governor off.
Have you not seen the weather the last month and a half? You don't know if it's going to rain or not going to rain.
Always
Usually
have
it
a
rains.
poncho.
Always bring a poncho.
Is
it
it
never rains
supposed to
at
rain?
Tiger Stadium. It's Atlanta.
Well, it's like 50,
Atlanta
60%
A&T
chance.
versus
Oh, we're good
Bumblebee.
then. 50 or 60% chance, then we're good. We're good. It'll die down.
So
There's
that way
always-
the football gods rain on Baton Rouge. No.
There's always
It'll rain during the day.
a learning curve for your first freshman year
Of
tailgate,
course.
especially for the out-of-state
And this
students.
is a good one. Hey, if you're opening the season with like a big high profile, if you open the season with Florida State at home last weekend, not in New Orleans.
That's what they're doing in Clemson. The 25-26 is a home with Clemson.
Which is great.
Oh,
I love that.
I can't wait to
Love
see
that.
those people again.
Love that.
Well,
Davo's
it's probably
gonna be
a
there.
dry county, probably a dry state. Clemson, those people were handing out $2 bills at the national championship. Like, what am I gonna do with that?
luck.
I think it's bad luck.
Is it? I
So
thought it
they're
was
trying
good.
to give you bad
I
luck.
thought it was good luck. I thought $2 bills were good luck. That's why people keep $2 bills in their wallet all the time.
Yeah, I have one in my wallet.
You're wrong.
Put it on the poll.
Mama's wrong again.
How
So
about
Clemson wants to
2024?
give us luck.
Maybe because I thought they were that confident they were going to beat us.
Maybe if you keep your own is good luck, but if you
Maybe
give it
so.
away,
Oh, it's like a
Maybe
Uno
so.
card.
there you go.
But
Oh, no, reverse.
this weekend's going to be fun.
Don't pass go.
Big dry run. I think that.
Collect $2.
What do you want to see? Because you're a nega tiger.
I'm
Sometimes.
not.
Sometimes.
Yeah, he's a nega tiger.
No. Okay. Not nega tiger. You're a
Yes, he is.
skepticism tiger. You're very skeptical. Right?
Skeptical?
Skeptical, I think.
AKA a
No, I
nega
won't say negative. I don't want to put that on you because you're not
Trying
negative.
to turn over a leaf.
I know, and I'm working on it. That's why I'm asking this question. As a skepticist, I guess that's the word.
I'm observing.
What would you like to see this week? Because I
I'm
obviously
giving up on the year. I really don't care.
obviously, like the talent level. No, Southern did win 86-0 last week.
Hey,
It's hard to
But
score
the
80.
talent level.
14% of what he just said was true.
No,
too, by the
14%.
way.
Maybe
Yeah,
14.2%.
that was true.
I was so excited too last week.
But here we go. I want you to answer this for me. Like the talent level is obviously not going to be the same as it was last week, right? Like you expect to win this game by. I mean, the spread's 49.5.
I don't think they cover.
Right? I don't. I mean, that's
I'm definitely.
49.5. You don't cover. Like I'm gonna be okay. You won by 40. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know
I don't
what
think
Like,
it's
you
going
win
to
by
be
40 points. I'm okay with that. Right.
Yeah.
But so obviously the talent, but you can still see things. You can still see improvement in a sense, not based off the talent. Like, what do you want to see?
It's the reverse of a week 0 game. You're playing it just week 2 as opposed to week 1. All the things that you saw that happened against Florida State that kind of caused you to lose the game, things that I feel like are easily fixable, that apparently are a little bit harder to fix than what I've heard off air. But when it comes to block extra points, blocked field goals,
It's not fixed. It's not hard to fix. It's just
hard to teach.
no. It's not as it's not as easy to just plug someone in there and say, hey, I go block the extra point, or go block for the extra point as you would think that it would be. It's not.
Especially in that moment, no time left on the clock. I get it. I
Like
can
you
see
mess
it
one
happen.
up, it's not just like, Jack, go get him.
I mean, you have the guys on
Put your hand
defense
on.
have
I block
one
it. It don't work that way.
one thing in mind, right? There's no play action to hold the safety or to read the blitz. There's no.
That's what the safe
There's
man.
no. There's very like low chance that they're gonna fake a field goal extra
would've
point,
been an awesome call.
especially in that situation. Like there's one thing on their mind, and you're asking elite athletes, guys who are extremely athletic, to go and make that play, right? So it
can happen.
I'm not saying it's the hardest thing in football, but it's also not as easy as you made it out to see. There's the rain. Okay. Maybe the rain came early.
A couple of things I want to see. Obviously, we have no Mason Smith out for the year. Let's see how the defensive line, and let's see how the rotation works, because Mekhi Wingo, I think, played a career-high snaps of like either 53 or 63 when he was on schedule to only play 30. But now he has to take over that role. Let's see. They mentioned Tyjee Hill, who's a freshman. Like, all of a sudden, LSU, where we thought LSU would have been deep.
I still think they have good depth there.
But it's not as deep because Mason Smith wasn't coming off the field.
No.
And so now you have to find, all right, who's the next guy that you can't replace him, but let's see where we can go to make LSU still competitive.
So here's my question. Do you think the defensive line played bad last week?
No, not at all. You see, like, they gave out no run yards.
Some people are saying the defensive line was disappointed.
No, it's the missed tackles on the quarterback. It's a lot like what happened against
as far as
Auburn and Bo Nix, where it's you're right there.
Well, yeah, but can we square something up too? I don't think, quote unquote, you lose a player, but I don't really think it's the depth that gets hurt. Is that you no longer have that impact guy.
Right.
That's a difference, right? Like
in the inside of the line,
the circle underneath your player.
Well, yeah. So it's not, for me. It's not really the rotation. You just don't have that impact guy that's in there. That one that you knew was that guy.
Well, that's what impacts your depth, right? Because if you could
really. I mean,
but if you could rotate in and then bring in a fresh Mekhi Wingo,
but you bring in a freshman.
Shit.
I'm literally not saying he's that. I'm just saying, think of it in the terms of, hey, San Francisco's got a great defensive line. If Joey Bosa's out, they might still have a really good defensive line. We're not really talking about their depth. We're talking about they're missing the impact guy.
Now the offensive line doesn't have to focus and double team Joey Bosa. Now they can shift their focus to the rest of the line.
Yeah,
right?
they can play it straight up.
That's a perfect. I don't want to segue out of this because I still want to keep talking about this. But look at what Von Miller did last night.
Right.
Impact.
Right. Like, hey, the Bills' defensive line is one of the best in football. Right. Like, they are maybe the best defensive line in football. Basically the same team defense they had last year. What was the biggest issue last year? They couldn't get to the quarter. They couldn't sack the quarterback. They couldn't get off the playoff game. They just couldn't get them off on third downs. They just couldn't make that big play. They couldn't get to him. So they go ahead and they sign Von Miller to add to this already elite defensive line. And now instantly, okay, we have a guy who's going to be able to get to the quarterback at will and have 2 sacks. And now you have that impact, right? It didn't affect their depth because they have a lot of depth. They play 8 defensive linemen with the Bills, like in a rotation. It didn't affect their depth, but what it did is it forced the defensive line to focus on him when he was in and opened up for everyone else. Right. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Well, that's what leads me to my next point is what I would like to see is LSU kind of correct some of the things that happened on third down. I know that money down.
This is going to be a little different. It's going to be harder to judge that. I mean, you want to see them get off the field.
That's what I'm saying. You're not going to learn anything.
But you look at it scheme-wise. Maybe they may not keep sending 3 and 4. Maybe they might start sending an extra.
And they did send that on the touchdown pass that he caught with one hand. Like, they did send pressure. You saw Allegheny. They did some creative things on defense that I think are, like, that you've been kind of yearning for at LSU.
And they used a lot of different looks.
Yeah. But they got beat consecutively by like kind of the same scheme of leaving somebody over the middle because you're trying to bring pressure from so many different places, asking D linemen to drop. Like a lot of that stuff is hard to do in the first game.
He did make some throws in rhythm over the middle, but he also made a lot of throws where he extended the play till 5-6 seconds and then made those throws. Right, like that's very hard to ask someone to cover someone for that long.
And you gotta realize. So like you're saying too, like bringing pressure. Look, just because we bring someone and drop someone, that's not necessarily bringing pressure, right? Like if I'm still rushing forward, I'm still rushing forward.
No, that's just
they don't lose an offensive line.
You're trying to confuse.
Right. So my point is now you may start seeing more of the, hey, I'm bringing 5. Hey, I might bring 6. Like instead of just the 3 or instead of just the 4 because we weren't getting home with whatever's that base look is. You know what I mean? So like you might start seeing less of a zone pressure and maybe more of a man-to-man type pressure type situation.
And that's what leads me to my next point. I'm wondering if they're going to. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to learn from what like skill-wise what you're going to get from LSU from Southern. I'm assuming I didn't watch Southern play. They put up 86. You would hope that this isn't a McNeese State scenario where you were going for it on 4th down 3 times in a row on your opening drive and kicking field goals, and you're like, we're in a fucking battle right now for no reason. We're playing the coach's fucking kid and we can't win. And that's a low point. So if you can methodically kind of drive down the field, like to see the offensive line, sure some things up around. Just
I think I'd like to see the offensive line
get on schedule,
communicate well. Like I want to see the offensive line work in the same direction. Like understand where their protection is, understand who's got help where, understand that, right? Like that. It doesn't matter who you play. That can be every game, right? Like, you can't coach effort, right? Like as they say, you can't coach hard work. Like all those like cliche things that they say. Like you can coach them up. You want to see these guys execute that. You want the simple thing of knowing the scheme and knowing the system of where they're supposed to be. That you don't need. It doesn't matter who you're playing. You need to be able to do it, right? And that's what I want to be able to see is like that team, like the offensive line work in unison and understand like
who to pass off,
where their technique was.
And we talked about this on Monday and Wednesday. There's positives from what you saw, and it was Jaden Daniels in tempo, and which is
how many
comfortable.
Fridays in a row is Bo going to call me on the show? And after I'll call him, oh yeah, I forgot you're on the show. How many times do you think? He does it every Friday.
Bad friend.
He just called you?
Yeah, every Friday.
I just called him like 10 minutes ago and he didn't even answer.
He just called me. Go ahead.
Did the old, how long is he letting it ring?
I mean, I silenced it. I mean, I ignored it.
He's going to leave a voicemail?
No. He'll text me. Go ahead. What are you saying?
Oh, LSU being in tempo, obviously that's something that all the coaches notice. It's not. I don't think that's very sustainable. There's times to do it and there's times not to. I don't think LSU is going to become like a race car type team where you're running no huddle and doing things like that.
But you can still run tempo without having to like the supersonic fast tempo, right? Tempo is in and out of the huddle. Tempo is, hey, make some throws and have a rhythm on offense. Like that's tempo, right? Like tempo could be this. Or tempo could be this. That's all tempo.
Girls like the first
hey,
one.
Hey, we're a sports show.
Yeah.
Chill out.
But like, you know what I mean? Like tempo is always a thing. Hey, whether it's a slow tempo or a quick tempo or a fast tempo, like
break.
But being in tempo means being in rhythm.
More than one round.
You know what I mean? So like, that's where I need to be. It's like I just want to see them in rhythm.
Second one's like, I gotta get out of here.
Hey, I think for me, honestly, like the things that I want to see.
Second one's angry.
Yeah.
I just don't really know that.
Breakup sex.
Yeah.
Breakup sex.
Hey, yo.
Go ahead.
I don't know, man. I think the things that I want to see, I'm not exactly sure you're going to be able to see him in this game, right? Like Lloyd's talking about the defensive rotations and all that stuff. Like for me, like I want to see him get off the field on third down, right? But for me, what they tried to do on third down, I do think that there's a good chance that if you try to do it this game, you might actually get home. Well, that's not SEC type lineman. So like the stuff that I want to see, I'm not exactly sure. Like I want to see him establish.
Matters.
I want to see him. I want to see him establish a run game. Well, the defensive line you will see pretty much across ain't the same defensive lines you're going to see in the SEC. So you may be able to establish a run game a lot easier. So like the stuff that I want to see, which honestly at the end of the day will be, I guess, confidence builders for him this week. I'm not sure that what I see this weekend is going to be like, all right, yeah. It's there. At
the end of the day, I want to see us take care of business and beat a team that you should beat.
By a lot
and just make it. It doesn't even have to be. I mean, obviously you want it to be by a lot, but like you just want it to be clean.
I want it to be a boat. I want it to be a boat race by halftime.
No doubt. Like you do what you're supposed to do.
Which it may not be, but
right?
You know,
like do what you're supposed to do to the team that you're supposed to do it to, but all the fans out there go have fun and enjoy each other's company because it's gonna be a fun weekend. But what I want to see is just go out and win. Take care of business. Look good doing it.
Go for two.
And no, don't go for two. And, obviously there's a couple things that they're going to probably want to see, but a lot of it's hard because you're playing a team that you can't compare it to the SEC talent that you're going to play the next week.
And if I would imagine, I didn't see one play of what they did last week, but if I had to guess, there's a couple skill position guys out on that team that are electric.
No doubt.
Electric.
No doubt.
But it shouldn't be any kind of contest up front.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be.
It might break one.
No, I guarantee you there's at least one or two guys that
they're gonna
absolutely
they're gonna have some guys that have speed that are gonna challenge some of our that's good, right? Like and you're gonna have guys that are very athletic
it's a test for the corners at least if you want to go 1-on-1, cover 0, stuff like that, cover 1.
Yeah.
Let's see what you can do on the outside.
I mean you're 100% right. That things like that could be great for you. Now if you see the ball actually let go, if you see something I don't know about that, but on tape for them when they watch it again, stuff like that could be real big for them.
The mark of a good team is dominating teams that you're supposed to dominate and, like, doing it the way you're supposed to do it, right?
TCOB.
So that's what I want to see. I want to just see a team that is good. Like, that's
when
that's
everyone in the stadium knows what's coming, when the defense knows what's coming, when the offense knows what's coming, and you still pop it.
Right. I want to see that. That's really it.
And early touches for the guys out wide. I think LSU has got to make an absolute emphasis on getting it to the skill guys.
I think that. So if you listen to the leaked 1.5, 2 minute post-game interview that I think that was leaked and the person got in trouble for it. Look, we've gotten in trouble. We've gotten in trouble on YouTube for posting things that we probably shouldn't have posted, and I appreciate you because I got
different kind of trouble, but yeah.
Yeah, different kind of trouble. But we got to see it, and I got to listen to it, and I enjoyed the message. I enjoyed how he was going about it. I enjoyed things that he said, because a lot of the things that he was talking about, we kind of hit on a little bit on that Monday about what I saw and what I was hoping that they would take from the game. Right? People are like, what are the positives? Here's the positives. The end of the third quarter, fourth quarter, we scored 3 straight touchdowns, and we drove 99 yards, and it felt like they started kind of figuring out the offense. Well, that was part of his message in that speech was, hey, listen, it was not a pretty game. We played 30 shitty minutes, basically. He didn't say it in those words, but we played 30 minutes of football that I am not proud of, and you're not proud of. I have got to coach better. We have got to execute better as coaches and as players. Like, everybody needs to be accountable together. He said, but what I did see is I saw a lot of resilience. I saw a team that when they had to have it, and every time Florida State scored a touchdown, we came back and responded and scored a touchdown. When we needed 2 stops inside the 10-yard line, we got them. When we needed the biggest stop in the game, we got it. We had to drive 99 yards, we did it. Like, we got in a rhythm towards the end of the game, and that is what I'm encouraged to see. And he basically talked about how you have to have a sense of urgency in the things that you do on the football field. And to me, like, that message is gold, because that is what I think everybody wants to see. And that's the things that I want to see, and that's the things that we were talking about a little bit. So I was very encouraged about that. And then I was encouraged about some of the things that he said throughout the course of the week about how they were going to make the adjustments. Like, hey, we're not going to make the adjustment. The easy adjustment in your head is say, oh, that guy stinks, let's take him out. No, that may not be the issue. Talent may not be the issue. The adjustment may be, how are we going to scheme it for those guys to be better? And to me, when a coach is saying that, hey, let this guy do what he needs to do, because that's a perfect answer. Because sometimes the easy thing for everyone else that's not around the guys is to say, just take the guy out, put another guy in, replace him, it's going to be better. That's not the case. Maybe the scheme for the team, the guys that were in the lineup at the time, wasn't good, wasn't the right scheme, wasn't the right way to do it. Maybe we need to scheme a little bit more around what they're good at and allow them to have success, and then let's ease the other stuff in. And he alluded to that in some of his interviews throughout the course of the week. And to me, that's a sign of a very good teacher and a guy who's very aware of what he got on his team.
The way he's approaching,
I articulated that very well.
That was great, because you've had a couple of bad days. Not lately, but you went through like a 2-show stretch where you couldn't talk. I think this man's gonna have a stroke.
Oh shit!
Do you remember it?
5:30 a.m. to showing up right at 6 o'clock. It's
That's what I do.
It's long days. You go home and nap. You work out. I work out in the morning, and then I don't go home again until the show.
I do
after
that
the
after
show.
school.
Yeah.
So yeah, but are you talking? You're not talking as much.
I'm not talking
okay.
as much.
Sometimes I fumble over. So tiredness comes in.
I'm just saying it because you
I
said
got
it.
a lot of energy for the weekend.
Oh, you're all over him right now. Look at
But I was going to say, do you think the way that Brian Kelly's approaching this year is more of like, this shit's going to happen? Like, we're not a 10-win team. We're 6 to 8 win team. Like, what do you
What do you mean? What do you mean to
I
think the way he's approaching?
Okay,
It-
you go
it-
for it. You go for it. You take it then.
It's more of like he's looking at it from like a macro view as a Of
course he is.
Okay, well, yeah, okay.
But
He
doesn't
doesn't mean
mean
at a
he's giving
macro
it-
view, but that doesn't mean you realize you can't portray messages like that, right? Because you won't
Thank
get the top out of it. If I keep telling you, hey, dude, you're not that good this year. Maybe you will be next year. Hey, we're not that this year. What am I
you don't
expecting to
believe
get
in
out
us?
of you week after week?
Right.
I'm not gonna get shit out of you. So the message can never be that. Ever be that. I've been places, dude, and I think that's the one thing that I learned a long time ago, man. And it wasn't. I was blessed enough to be in places where everywhere I went for a certain period of time, the only thing that mattered was, did you win or did you not, right? And then I got to other places where you get there and the message was completely different. And then you look at the history of the program and you're like, well, damn, that's why y'all don't win, right? Like so, and I was blessed to be a part of winning teams where you realize like this shit matters.
I can see the difference.
Right. So my point is like if you understand it as a coach, those things can never be said.
Listen,
ever.
Coaches, especially at this level, and especially Brian Kelly, because he's been doing it for way too fucking long for him to have a different type of mindset. Every time he steps on the field as a head coach, he expects to win that game. And I will say with 1,000% certainty that is the message that he is giving to his team and as he's portraying to his team that.
Oh no! I'm not talking about.
I know, but so in his mind, he doesn't think 6-8.
My point is when do you have those thoughts? Do you go home at night when you finally lay in the bed and be like, that's okay, dude, we're really not that good this year? No, like that just doesn't come.
No.
Like, and you're not reaching whatever your ceiling is.
He can't do that, and he doesn't do that.
Whatever your ceiling is, you're not gonna reach it if that's what you're approaching it as. You just can't do it.
But he has to know that this isn't the final.
Why? Why does he have to know that?
Thank you.
Why does he have to know that?
I'm saying, you signed me to a 10-year deal. This is the first year after I took over a team that was
no doubt. It's always
destroyed.
going to get better.
Yeah, that's great, but like, why do you have to look at it that? Like, why would you approach it that way?
You can't look at it that way.
In your own mind to be like, oh man,
listen,
this isn't good.
Okay, so I'll flip it a different way. Like, if that's what you think about it, do you think?
I love when he gets fired because I can't.
I just don't know. Like, I don't get this. Like, because do you think the head coach at Cincinnati year in and year out is like, man, we're really good for this conference, but we really can't touch a SEC team?
Yes.
No.
100%.
No, he's not saying that.
I know, but he knows.
Because you're not understanding just how we're talking about this Florida State game where this miskicked stupid stuff. That's how they see this whole thing. As in, damn, dude, if we just do this and that a little different, we win. When really that difference at the end of the day, what really usually comes down to it is probably a better player. But you can't ever think that way because then you don't allow yourself to coach it up that way.
But Brian Kelly, that's exactly why he left.
That's fine. but
he left, but he left to come here because he knows the talent is here.
And he also never believed. I'm willing to bet that he didn't believe that in season. In season, every time he was playing, he thought he was going to win a game. He left after. You can evaluate after the fact. There's a reason why all elite athletes and elite coaches are kind of delusional in a sense, right? Like, you talk to an elite athlete, like
they're crazy.
It doesn't matter what happened in the game. There's nobody better than them, and it doesn't matter. Like it was lucky. It was a fluke. Like that's not me. Like fluke. They walk into the field and they think that they are going to win every play in every game, right? Whether they should believe that or not, that is how they do it because that's the way that they're wired, and that's what makes them great. I would consider Brian Kelly a great coach based off of his track record as a coach. Whether you say, oh, he hasn't won a national championship or not, I don't give a shit about that. But, like, he has coached in national championship games. He has won 11, 12 games in a season. Like, he has done things that make him a great coach.
I mean, you do realize he's only kept, like, leveling up, like, realizing, like, oh, I could do this at Cincinnati until Notre Dame came knocking. Oh, I can do this at Notre Dame until LSU came knocking. So he's only leveled up, but he's thought he can do it everywhere, which is why he's had those teams do what they've done.
Coach Maneri knew. This is a whole different, but Coach Maneri knew that he had maximized his potential at Notre Dame as a coach, right? He knew that, and baseball's a tad different, but not, I mean, kind of same thing. He knew that.
No, it's just philosophy. It's how winners think.
Right, like he knew that like he could continue to go to Omaha and continue to have a chance, and maybe they break through, right? But everything had to fall. It was a lot harder for him to do it. Every time they stepped on the field, you would assume that he expected to win. And he came here because he knew that he had more resources and he had the ability to instill his philosophy, but also get better players and get to the level that he always knew that he wanted to get to, right? So it didn't take away from the fact that he didn't think he could win. After the fact, when he came here, he evaluated, okay, where is it going to be better for me? He evaluated LSU was better. And then looking back, you can evaluate post. But in the moment, you never think that you were going to lose a game.
No, that's what I do. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about when he stepped on the field in the Caesars Superdome, where he's like, oh, man, we're not going to win. I think I was just talking about more of a, when he looks at the totality of the situation that he inherited.
Okay, that's what I'm asking you.
Yeah.
When is he looking at that? When is that mindset okay to set in? Like, who are you talking to in that mindset?
I don't think that he's looking at his team and like, man, I'd be lucky to get six wins.
No, I think he looks at it like, man, if we could just get this guy to do this,
right,
he could really make us go. If we could just get this guy to understand this, we could really go.
Yes.
Because when you finally do have those really good teams, those guys do this and they do that, and you're not looking to just get this guy to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Couldn't agree with that.
That's usually what happens.
It's not about, oh man, if we had somebody better. No,
time.
What?
Like time to implement what I want to do here, because it's a
no, for sure. Like
a quick turnover.
It is going to take time, but he doesn't mean that he doesn't think that they can do it, right? He thinks that they can do it. He just hopes that it happens quicker than not.
In the simplest way I could put it is, I would imagine he thinks it's going to be his worst year in the 10 years here.
I mean,
maybe not.
But he's never going to let that cross his mind. He's never going to speak about it. He's never going to talk. Like, you may never know that until he's retired at 80 years old and comes in and says, okay, when I got there, I fell into a tough situation, but, I had to do this, and this. And, I think that, looking back, like, obviously there's a reason why that was my worst year at LSU, right? But in the moment right now, he will never, ever admit that. He will never allow himself to think that, because he can't. He's doing a disservice to his players. He's doing a disservice to the organization. He's doing a disservice to the fans to even allow himself to think that way. Because that is a selfish mindset to think, okay, I inherited this. This is the job that I took. I'm going to go ahead and just say, this first year, I'm not expected to do well because we have all these things. That's not the case.
It doesn't go that way. That
is a selfish mindset for him, because I have 10 years. Hey, that senior, Ali Gay doesn't have 10 years. Ali Gay's got one more year, and he's gone.
And he deserves the best.
He deserves the best version of Brian Kelly.
And I'm not saying he's not going to give the best version.
I know. So my point is, once again, who are you allowed to speak to that way, and where are you allowed to portray that message? So then when are you saying it? When the day's over, they've done all the prep, he's going from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. at the building.
When I'm in my office alone going, I don't know if this shit's going to fucking work this year. And you're looking at it and you're like, this is hard. But
it's hard every year.
But I can get there at some point. But this year, it's going to be difficult. Like, I'm sure that people have those moments all the time.
No doubt.
Steve Jobs went through a million fucking failures.
But the thing is,
here's my question. That's a perfect example. Do you think Steve Jobs said, this isn't going to work? No. Steve Jobs went through the failure thinking it was going to work before it was a failure. He never once thought it wasn't going to work.
Yeah, people have. That's what I'm saying. People are placed in bad situations, and so you rebuild and reload.
I don't think it's
again.
I don't think it. Listen, all right, I'll level with you,
because this isn't his program.
I'll level with you. If that thought ever comes across his mind, I would imagine very, very quickly after in his mind, he's like, no, fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make this work.
Yeah, right. No doubt.
So if that's the case, then we really never let that get in there. Yeah. That's my point. Like, that's not a thing. You can't operate that way. If I think that way and I move that way, I'm immediately putting a ceiling on whatever my top height is, wherever I can get. I'm immediately putting a ceiling on, and I can't get to that spot if I ever think and move in. Well, we're not supposed to be this. We can't do that. Why not us? Why not you? Why not this next guy? Why can't he do it?
Joe Burrow hates that saying.
I know. I love the fact that he said that too. When Joe Burrow said, "I hate why not us," because that means you just expect us not to be good. Like, I don't expect that, so I hate why not. I love that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's the mindset. Like, hey, Joe could have gone into the team last year and said, this is not going to be this year. Next year, once we get an offensive line, that's it. We're going to be good.
It really,
no.
At the end of the day,
we're going to the fucking Super Bowl right now. Even with the shitty offensive line, even me being the most sacked quarterback in the NFL, even with me being basically a rookie because I only played 5 games, 6 games a year before, like, We're not going to wait. We're doing it now.
Lloyd, at the end of the day,
That's my point.
It really just comes down to
he's delusional because
it really just comes down to those simple thoughts that your Little League coaches used to put in your mind, right? Where it was, say you play Little League baseball, say you played Pee Wee football, and y'all played that one team that was supposedly the juggernauts, right? And what did that Little League coach or that Pee Wee coach tell you? Hey, they wear the same pants you do. They put them on just like you do. They had to tie shoes just like you do. Their helmet strapped just like you do. Their batting gloves fit just like you do. So why can't you get in the box? Why can't you line up against them and whip their ass? That's really all the thought comes down to. And you have to keep perpetuating that same thought.
I think he will. But I'm just saying.
I still think he does. No, I think he does. Not will. I think he does.
I mean, he does that.
He does.
You have to be realistic at some point.
No, you don't.
You don't.
You don't.
That is the difference
You really
between
don't.
like
You really don't.
a normal person that's not in the middle of it and somebody
I'll give
who's
you
at
this.
the
I'll
highest
give
level
it
of
to you
his
like this
profession.
again. Like I go back to just my experiences within. So Mikey's a year younger than me, right? But he's 2 years younger than me in school. So Mikey came in the year that we won it all in baseball, right? That was his freshman year. I would be, if there was 35 guys on the team, I'd be hard pressed to tell you there wasn't at least 33 guys looked at that last year, not like, hey dude, we have a good chance. Like, hey dude, this will be very, very, very embarrassing if we don't win it all this year. From day one, like show up from day one. Not like, hey, let's do it, look who's around us, we can. It's like, no, we better make this happen or it's a failure. So you have to have that delusional thought. Think about it. Like if I step away from it and be like, all right, dude, you really telling me something? You knew you were going to win it from day one? Yeah, because we were that good.
But
yeah, that's how you go about it. Yeah, like we knew we were that good. Not like, oh man, I hope we run into one this year. No, I'm expecting this to happen.
Now the difference is you have to get everybody to buy into that.
That's
Which
the hard
I think
part.
is what he's trying to
Which
do
he is.
long term.
You can't try to do it if you don't show it and believe it and talk it and walk it yourself. So if that's the case, then when am I allowed to sit there and say, we suck, and actually go about it?
You got a new computer?
Homer's at? We're going to go back over what we did a couple weeks ago, wins, losses, going down to thing.
I still think 8's a possibility.
I still think it's 8 there.
I still think 8's a possibility. 8's still a possibility.
I'll book all the 8 you want.
I know you will. I'm not going to bet it, but I still think it's a possibility. I already bet the over 7. I still think it's a possibility.
6.5 got a shot.
I still think 8's there.
Seven's push.
I think
Gotta beat Mississippi State.
8's got a shot, man. I mean, they have the ability to shock somebody. There's going to have to be one upset, obviously.
Or 2.
Or maybe by the time we play those big teams, there won't be an upset. Who knows? My thing is just people pressing the pan, but it wasn't as bad as people thought it was. It wasn't great, but it wasn't as bad.
Yeah, and Florida State shouldn't be as happy as they are.
Huh?
Florida State shouldn't be as
No, they
excited
should be
as
exactly as happy as they are because Florida State was stinky for 5 years. Like, they should be happy that they won.
You
Anytime
should
you
be
win a
happy
game like that,
you
you
win. I don't give a
Yeah.
shit if we win
But, like,
by
my
1,
point
2.
is
I don't
to
care
press
if
the panic button and say, "Oh, we aren't." It wasn't great. Wasn't anything that we want to see, but it also wasn't as bad as people were making it out to be.
Right.
Right? Like you want to win that game
Because
you wanna win that game.
look, I'm being for real. I'm dead serious when I say this. If they beat Southern 24-21, I'm happy. You want to know why? Because if we continue to get better, if we keep beating the people that are on the schedule in front of us, what can you hold against us? Oh, we lost. We beat Southern by 3.
Hey, you wanna
Oh, we lost the
flip-flop
first
round
game
where
of the
you
season.
start
That
putting
shit
on the
won't
bets
matter.
the
It's a
next
W.
segment whenever you
At
start?
the end of the day. You get what I'm
Okay,
saying?
okay, that's fine.
So
Give
like
it
at the end of the day, like it don't matter, man. Why we win, we win. That's why people always say winning like math stuff, right? And that's why stuff doesn't get fixed when you win so much. Because people usually just kind of mold, they just go ahead and walk right over the stuff you did bad when you win. Because people don't understand how to take, hey, you did great, but you sucked. And you need to fix this. People usually can't take that kind of criticism. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's
Southern line.
yeah. I ain't fucking sniffing that. Coach. 49.5. There's not even many.
Don't beat them. Just to show you how football works. Like what do you think? We're average SEC, middle of SEC.
You know, maybe average to potentially to like, not upper, not top 2, 3, but like average-ish.
They're gonna beat the absolute brakes on the Southern.
Yeah, no doubt.
In the rain?
It's not gonna rain.
rain.
Coach.
That ring type city.
Oh, duh.
It's not gonna rain.
Wrote a whole book about it.
All right, BG, our betting expert. No, our
Betting
betting
guide.
advisor. Our betting advisor.
BG, the betting guide.
Our advisor.
Expert.
Nobody's an expert. Our advisor. He's going to join the show. We're going to talk about all the lines, talk about the college football and NFL lines. Last night, I went 1-1. I did take the 2.5. Didn't take the over.
You sitting over here?
BG, what'd you go? 2-0.
Hey, what did I tell you?
And you hit the prop.
Hey, what?
That was actually I got to say that was very fun for me to watch you and David.
Yeah.
Like because
That was a fun prop.
it was a fun prop and you kind of
take
knew
the
it was
over
gonna.
too?
It was actually very low.
Why didn't you tell him that?
The odds.
I tried to tell him to
it
take the
would have
under.
hit the over if they
That's
didn't
a
turn the
wild-
ball over 4 times in a row.
What do you
A lot of
mean?
turnovers in the first
Yeah,
half.
that really
He had a
scared me.
shot.
I had a shot in the second, and they went back to back to back turnovers or whatever. But they bet the Josh Allen over
Rushing
touchdown. Now it was plus 170, which that's a very low number for a rushing touchdown by a quarterback. Obviously, I mean it's Josh Allen, but when he did it, you could kind of see it unfold, and they went nuts. It was great. It was great to see. All right, we're gonna take a 30-second break and get BG set up so we can actually get some actual betting information. Watch your Mik'd, brought to you by Sterling Automotive.
True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU, bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU, bluewater.com.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you daily by Morales Roll-Offs. Morales Roll-Offs provides dumpster rentals for residential and commercial needs in Baton Rouge and surrounding areas. Morales has roll-off dumpsters ranging from 10 yards to 40 yards to accommodate all of your disposal needs. Search online, moralesrolloffs.com.
Welcome back to Mik'd Up. We're brought to you by Sterling Automotive.
Energy.
I know. I almost misread what I was gonna say, but
Wait. Oh, you read that?
no, I was reading something and it was in my mind when I was trying to give the intro. We're Mik'd Up. We're brought to you by Sterling Automotive. BG is in the house. BG is gonna talk betting.
Gambling
We're gonna
right
talk
now.
Gambling, not necessarily gonna give you winners. He's gonna just talk. We're just gonna talk sports. When we talk, here's the deal. We have a great sponsor in Caesar Sportsbook, right?
Sportsbook out there.
Best sportsbook out there. We have a promo code MMLSU Full that you can get a risk-free bet up to $1,200, right? And it's not. We're doing you a disservice by just giving you a promo code that you can use to bet without giving you really good, viable betting information so that you can go ahead and win some money from Caesars. I'm sure Caesars would be very happy just to pay you out some money. You know why? Because you keep going back and hopefully you keep winning some more money. That's why we need better information to give you. So that's
Better.
what we are going to give you better information. I can tell you all the picks that I make. I'm by no means very good at betting.
Mine's great.
Yeah, you're bet because you have no skin in the game. And how good were you last week?
500.
Yeah, that's not very good.
So if you're 500, you're losing money.
Yep.
Minus 110 beats you all day.
All day.
Didn't get that yet.
All day. So my point is, we're gonna get a guy who's hopefully gives you over 500, where you can actually make some money, right? We have a good slate of games. I think there's a lot of interesting slate of games. NFL has unbelievable amount of like storylines and matchups this weekend. Like it's very hard to just say, oh, this is a win. There's probably only 2 or 3 games that you can basically. It's NFL. You can't ever really say that.
Can never say
You're
that.
not beating, nobody's beating NFL football.
No.
NFL football
You can never say that.
Right.
in NFL.
You're not beating NFL football.
Whatever looks like a
Right.
guarantee.
You look at Denver and you think, okay, Denver's going to go up to Seattle and like they should win that game. Like that's a favorite that should win, but they're going up to Seattle and who knows? Maybe something crazy happens and they start playing Future over the loudspeaker and
Throwing fish on the field.
yeah, I mean maybe Russell Wilson isn't
Right.
riding well up to
No
Seattle.
more let's
Like,
ride.
you don't
Let's,
know.
let's go to the crib. I'm
Yeah,
out.
like,
You know who else is saying? You know who else is saying? Let's ride Sierra.
You're legit one snap away. You're one snap away from the backup quarterback being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the backup quarterback for Russell Wilson?
I have no idea.
That's my
There you
point.
go.
Who's the backup quarterback for Russell Wilson?
You
Lloyd?
We got the Red Rocket, so we're good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right
You're
now,
one
that's
snap
it.
away in the NFL.
No doubt.
I mean,
It's very
they're all
hard.
they're
And they're all professionals. That's
They're all
why you don't
professionals.
see spreads at double-digit spreads unless you're playing a receiver at quarterback for Denver like they did 2 years ago. And I don't even know if that was a double-digit spread
Unless
against
you
New
get
Orleans.
unless you get to week 16 and we just know, hey, they've cashed it. in.
People always
They're
talk
out.
about, like when Alabama's really good, they're like, oh, Alabama, line them up with the Cleveland Browns. They're terrible. The Cleveland Browns will absolutely beat the brakes off of the
It
best
would be a
Alabama.
double-digit spread, I bet.
Yeah.
28 probably.
Yeah.
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 Not even close.
It wouldn't be
Yeah.
close. I mean, you just got to think of it this way: like they're all really good at college at Alabama, right? Like they're all
How many of
really
them go play in the league?
10 maybe a
Yeah.
year,
Hey, Alex-
maybe 10 a year.
Alex
And
Leatherwood.
then after the first year,
and they're not all, and
six
then maybe
allowed.
not all draft picks.
No.
So
Hey,
there you
Alex
go.
Leatherwood.
All play good.
And they might not all make the team.
Alex Leatherwood, first-round draft pick for the played
He's our-
1 year in the NFL, got released. Now he's going to start somewhere else or play somewhere else. But hey, dude, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's
We
just
were
hard.
watching the game last night, talking about this, dude. The best players in NFL, right? Like Aaron Donald may go down as the greatest defensive player to ever play the game. Where do you play college football?
Pittsburgh.
All right, you knew. All right, so a
lot of people don't know.
don't know that,
Yeah.
right? Cooper Kupp, this dude played at Eastern Washington
They showed a picture
and
of him.
was struggling to play. And now
no
he's like,
bullshit. They showed a picture
He
of him
looked like a
when he was in
12-year-old.
high school. He was smaller than Lloyd,
He was taller than I was.
but he was literally like
he's
a
not
toothpick, bro.
Yeah. He's an undrafted free agent struggling to get, probably the best receiver in the league.
Yeah, it's not all top colleges. Obviously, you get a lot of school guys that get a lot of big schools, but it's not all that way, right? Like it's just NFL is very difficult, and you just don't know, right? So betting that makes it even harder. But the best thing that we can do is give you information. Why is Siri fucking me up right now? We can give you information on the games and give you better information so that you can make better educated guess, because it's really all we're doing is guessing. You don't know. Nothing's a guarantee. You're not guessing, but you're making an educated pick on a game as opposed to going off feelings and going off what you think, because the guy sitting on the couch playing Monday morning quarterback,
The worst.
I don't give a
person in the
shit
world.
what you think about. Like, you don't know football like the
I
guys
could've
that are
told
doing
you that
all
was
stuff.
gonna happen.
Yeah, right.
Bro, so most people bet sports because they like to sit down, they like to watch the game, and I'm guilty. We all do it. LSU's on, probably gonna bet LSU. It's my
Right.
team, right? But when it comes to sports betting and winning and gambling on sports, the two teams never matter. It's all about trading numbers.
No doubt.
It's a numbers game, right?
Yeah.
It's about beating the number. Can you beat the number? For example, we bet earlier in the week under 48 in the Boston College Virginia Tech game. Okay, if you go currently pull up the Boston College Virginia Tech line, it's 46. So
you got
we
2
bet
points.
48. So many times that game's gonna fall 46. Where if you bet it right now, you're gonna push. It's gonna fall 47. If you bet under 46, you're gonna lose. Both of those numbers, I win.
Right.
Because we beat the number. If you don't beat the number long term, it's hard to win betting
Okay, and
sports.
how do you beat the number? You gotta get there early.
Who killed
basically.
Jimmy Hoffa?
Yeah.
You have to you don't realize, guys walking up to a window betting $100.
Day of
We
the
could
game.
all go bet $100 at a window. 100. It's not going to move the number, right?
Right.
These sports books, Vegas, they start tagging accounts. If they know the account is sharp and every game that account bets they beat the number, they're going to start moving the number
Based
off
off
of that
what
person,
account.
right? I mean, not just saying anybody. Like if you're a sharp bettor and they know that Mikey's sharp, he's always here, he beats the number, he's a winning player. You walk in and try to bet $2,000 on a game. That shop may move the number off of you because they know the information is good.
Right.
So you can go look. It's fun to watch. Like I'm a numbers guy. I love looking at numbers. You can go pull up. You can go to scores and odds. Pull up every game on the board. You can go click on the line, and it will tell you what the opening line was. And every time the line moved, it'll show you the line went from 2 to 2.5 to 3 to 3.5 to 4 to 4.5. And then when it gets to 4.5, it's going from 2 to 4.5.
It's 2.5
You
points.
may get some opposition on the other
possession.
side. At this point, says I want the other side. So they're going to take some plus 4.5, plus 4, back down to plus 3.
And bring it back down.
So
right.
you can go look at what the number opened at and what the number posted at. When I say post, when the game kicked off. What was the closing line, right? The opening number's 2 and the closing line's 4, and you got it at 2. Over the long haul, you're not going to lose sports.
Right.
If I tell you can go buy Apple stock at $94 a share and it's trading at 97, would you buy it? No brainer, right? So it ends up being not about those two teams, especially NFL numbers. They may move during the middle of the week a little bit, but come Sunday, those NFL numbers, they're so tight and
bunched.
sharp. That number, I want you to go, when the game's over on Sundays, go pull up the lines in the closing line and go see what the final score was and see how many of them are right on. You know?
Love that. See, this is the information we can't give you.
This I've been trying to tell you.
I mean, I
was in the right place at the right time and met the right people. Put it that way, right?
I needed somebody to do it. I mean, I can talk about all I want, but I don't have.
No, but I've been preaching about buying points just because I.
No, you don't buy points.
No,
That's
no,
not.
no.
Okay, can you
Because
please no?
Well,
don't-
because not if you're a normal person and you
false
can't
information.
you killed Jimmy Hoffa, like I can't get to the window
Yeah, but
at fucking Sunday at
Okay, but here's the
10
other thing.
p.m. for the Monday games
Time out.
or for the next
Stop.
slate of games.
But
Those people don't exist.
I understand,
There are
but-
very finite few people.
Here's the issue with you.
You give up the juice.
That is going to be that's a losing player too. Just because you buy the points, you're going to give up too much juice.
You can't. Yes, correct. You can't. Buying points is too much.
But it's the only way to stay in the game.
No, you can't. But say we win at a clip of 58%. 58% is winning. If you can go 58%, you're going to win a lot of money. That's land $1.10. You start buying points and you land $1.30 and $1.40, you can't win.
Can't.
Yeah.
That's why I get the concept.
So I'm not going to gamble.
Or just don't buy the points.
Stop
Or get
buying
it
just
early.
go out there, find some accounts, give me the accounts, and let us do the work for you. I mean, it's easy.
There you go.
You know.
But that's my point. Is like the concept of buying the points because of the line moving. That is right. Obviously, I was not arguing with that. But I'm arguing with the fact of you're giving up too much to buy the points. You're not going to win that way on the long term. You may win a couple games in a weekend. That's not going to do anything for you. It's just going to make you happy, and then you're going to go ahead and lose 3 next weekend.
Lloyd, did you post a link in the chat? I posted a Telegram link. You can click on that, and these guys are really good, and they kind of give you a warning on when the play is going to be released. And if you got a spot, you can get down pretty quick. You should beat some numbers pretty good.
I love that.
You have an edge. It's
I'm
free.
going to sign up for it, no doubt.
It's free.
Early and
No
often.
doubt. Early and often.
I'm not going to put it in there just so I can have it for myself. That was
crazy-
really
I'll
Well, that's
Yeah.
very selfish. I want them to use it, and if they're using our app, I would like them to use it. I don't know if that's going to, whatever, but
You're not going to beat it. We'll get it down before you get it down.
there you
It
go.
won't be that fast.
There you go.
The craziest one, so when I first met these guys, I'm like, all right, let's do it. I wasn't a firm believer, right? And I'll never forget this. It was Tulane. I could probably go pull it up. It was Tulane versus Fresno State, and we bet a game at like over 62. And we bet it early on Saturday morning, and the game didn't kick off till probably like 2:30. It might have been even a 6 o'clock game. 62. We bet over 62. When the game posted, the total closed at 74. It went from 62 to 74.
What happened?
I will put it this way: in the first half, they scored 64 points in the first half. So over 62 was a winner. They ended up probably scoring 120, but
North
it's just
Carolina, Appalachian State.
we bet under in that game.
Oh.
57. That was a loser. We don't win them all.
I know, you can't win them. If you win them all,
But you're gonna beat the numbers.
You'd be
Like
buff
some
from-
I don't know, like
from Back
some
to the
more.
Future.
Ohio, so one of the plays that they released in that Telegram chat that you can click on and join was Ohio and Penn State this week over 54. It's currently 54.5, which you still beat it by half. It's not huge.
And it's probably going to, you think, continue to go up before the game kicks off?
It depends, man. Like there's a lot of different sharp groups out there. So
Right.
sometimes you may bet a game, the number flies to, say you bet over 54 and it goes to 56.5, 57, and then right before kickoff you may see the line go from 57 back to 55. That means some other group that
Yeah, went the
has
other way,
substantial
yeah.
money
Right.
can move the number back down.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So there is opposition. There's a lot of groups out there. There's groups out there that do just props. We had a group we worked with at one time. We bet all golf matchups. I never forget this. Like, we were playing. LSU was playing Wisconsin in Green Bay.
Under.
In Green Bay.
Under.
And we were. It wasn't even a football game. We're playing Erin Hills before we get there, and on the hill, on the golf course, my phone rings, and a buddy of mine said, "Hey, go bet this golf matchup. This guy's going to hit his tee shot and then pull out of the event. And if a guy hits a tee shot, if they both hit a tee shot, the bet's live." So it was player A versus player B. But the reason he was injured, the reason he didn't pull out of the event was because if he pulled out of the event, the guy that was behind him was close to his points for the years. He didn't want the guy behind him to get more points to where he might get his tour card and that guy loses tour card. So he helped, which is I would probably do the same thing.
No doubt.
Play defense. You don't want the guy behind you. Is it chicken shit? Probably a little chicken shit.
That's your life.
But so he said, bro, bet against this guy. He's going to hit one tee shot and pull out of the event. And sure enough, we bet against him, and he hit a tee shot and he pulled out. So we went. If he pulls out before the first tee shot, then the bet's void.
Yeah. See all this information I'm giving you?
I remember that happening.
Doesn't always.
He pulled out with a wrist.
It was in a European. It was in a European tour event.
No way you remember that.
You gotta,
I know I do
because
because I was big. I'm big into like the tour card stuff because I monitor it back then at least.
Yeah.
You got to.
It was a European tour. It was a European tour event.
You got to explain in layman's terms because I don't think people understand. Just like when you play baseball and you say, "Hey, if I'm successful 3 out of 10 times, like you're really good."
You got a Hall of Fame. Huh?
I don't think people understand. Like, hey, if you're successful 58% of the time in betting, you're really, really good.
It's unbelievable. If you're over 60%, you are the GOAT of all time. I mean,
Stu Feiner.
Billy is Stu Feiner.
I met him in a New York Mets bathroom.
You know who hangs out with Stu?
Follow his picks.
Oh my God.
You introduced me picks, dude. We went about 38%. I was like, this has been a very expensive weekend because of you, Stu. Then he offered me.
Mitch is always hanging out with him now. With Stu Feiner.
He offered me to start a digital media company with him. I should have done it.
Should have done it. It would have been maybe Barstool.
Billy Walters is the all-time GOAT. If you like sports betting, you can Google Billy Walters. There's a 60-minute special. You may have seen it a while back. Probably 10 years ago it came out. Anyway, Billy Walters ended up going to prison. And the whole prison thing was the whole Phil Mickelson insider trading with Tyson Foods. Remember that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. He gave him a tip on Tyson Foods, ended up going to prison over it. Mickelson didn't get anything, which is absurd.
Right.
He got to back pay. He said, I'll give away all my gambling assets.
Yeah.
And I'm good, right? It's like, no,
Billy Walters is the all-time GOAT. Absolutely.
All right. Well, speaking of betting, do you have anything this week? I know you don't the picks. I don't know. Do you have anything this weekend?
And I can tell you what we played already, but the number's already gone.
I know, but like, maybe they can. If you give them the games, maybe they can go look at it and numbers semi-close. Like if it's half a point or something, maybe they'll take it.
Yeah.
That's what I do sometimes. When you give me the numbers, I'm like, you're like, hey, it's not. I was like, I know, but let me just go see how close the number is right now, and maybe I'll take it and just take the risk of like the half point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's go college.
So that Telegram link that Lloyd's going to post in there, you can join. This game's in there. Penn State, Ohio, over 54. We bet Boston College, VT, under 48. Michigan, over 64.5. Texas Tech, over 58.5.
You got a lot of. You don't have to give them all. Just give the good ones.
I mean,
they're all good.
They're all good.
I know you got some.
You're probably not going to get them.
They may go 0-8, right? But like that's the kind of thing. Like you can't really bet. All my friends would call me and be like, "Hey man, give me a lock." I don't have a lock. If I had a lock, I wouldn't be selling insurance and trying to run a bar. You know what I'm saying? Like there are no locks in gambling. And then tomorrow morning we'll bet a bunch early tomorrow morning, but we'll bet a lot of FCS games.
So with
those are very profitable. FCS football, the teams that I really
What's your most profitable?
The teams that I really didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know Presbyterian and Austin P had a football team until last week.
Oh shit!
Which is a winner.
Conference, dude. Yeah.
What's the most profitable sport?
The most profitable sport. If you can get a bunch of accounts and you can stay in action, I would say the most profitable sport is
And what does that mean, stay in action, though?
A lot of guys will cut you off.
Yeah.
Like, you can't keep accounts that cut you off. The most profitable sport, I would say,
Slovakian
badminton. College basketball pre-conference college basketball. Those college basketball totals, they'll move 8-9 points sometimes. And then very, very, very profitable is women's NCAA March Madness. March Madness, women's NCAA is very profitable.
That's it.
it
You
is.
got
NFL football is not super
Not
profitable.
But you should still get on some football.
because there's
Yeah,
so
listen.
much money going to NFL football that they are.
Dude, NFL football. I love NFL football. I bet on NFL football. NFL football is so hard.
The worst one you can do.
So hard. I asked a buddy, one of my good buddies, we just like to gamble back and forth. It's like, hey, if I bet the board, which means every game on the board, if I bet the board, will you give me like 3-cent juice? He's like, yeah, let's do it. So I bet the board on a Sunday NFL football, and I think they had 14 games, and I went 0-14. But it was small amount. Like I wasn't gambling. It was small.
It was
He
just
charged
a-
me 3 cents. It was for fun. Like 0-14. Like looking back, I should have just parlayed the opposite of everyone I bet. Dude.
That would have been a nice payday if you did
Dude,
that.
But NFL football is pretty much unbeatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
But I
mean,
like last night, we sat and watched the game.
Yep.
I bet on it.
Yeah,
On
me too.
DraftKings, you can bet as many props as you want.
Yeah.
There's no point in watching a game if you're not going to bet.
Right.
My mom
No doubt.
always told me not to, but
No doubt.
here we are.
I bet 2.5. Now I bet the over. I shouldn't have bet the over. I should have listened to y'all. But the over had a chance. Had a chance to hit.
all
They
got
just
a
got
chance.
little-
You know why
At the end of the day,
you know why I bet the under
You
all the
like to sweat
time?
it.
Huh?
You like to sweat it, don't you?
I bet the under because it's
You're always
always
winning.
under until it goes over.
Yeah.
It's very
Very
true.
good point.
I mean,
It's a very
I'm
good point.
always up until I lose.
It's a very, very, very good point.
you bet over, you're not winning until it goes over.
Take your. We don't have the links in here. I knew we weren't gonna get the links in here. Let me get the college games up.
I will say this too. I'm not just
I
saying
wanted
this
the
to
links to the college games in there so I can pull up the schedule so I can talk about
There's
the
only
games.
one game posted in there.
What?
Oh, the one he posted? The link or the actual?
No.
I will say this. I've bet every sports book out there. I may or may not be on David or my dad's name on a couple other ones. Caesar Sportsbook. I'm not just saying it. Caesar Sportsbook. They don't cut you off and they'll take your action. They may reduce your limit. Caesar Sportsbook's real out there for sure.
And that's a good plug because we are partners with Caesar Sportsbook, and we have a promo code. And if you want to take your action, get a free risk-free bet up to $1,200. Why not?
Risk free.
Go click on this link, take a bet some money, get some money back if you lose. Hopefully you don't lose. You don't have to worry about the money, and you can cash out if you want, which you probably won't. But go ahead and dabble a little
LSU
bit.
Southern's down to 45, dude.
Yeah,
It was like 47 and
it was
48.
49.5
There
was
you
what I
go.
saw.
Now you know what happened.
Damn.
Bro,
Somebody's on the Jaguars.
I mean, I would have bet the Jaguars too at 49. That's a lot of
7
points.
touchdowns, huh? Yeah.
A lot of points.
Is there any sort of?
This is what I used to always do in games like this, right? Southern Jaguars are plus 45. The total is 60. So you can Southern score
14 points.
15, can Southern
Right.
score 15 points?
Right.
Or you have to get to 16. If they can get to 16, and you can't lose them both, right?
Right.
But honestly, I don't think Southern's going to score.
Yeah. But is LSU going to score 50 points? It was 49.5. It's not 49. It's 46 now. But
Total 60.
oh, the total. You're talking about the
Total,
total.
yeah. I'm saying
Oh,
if
my
you
bad.
bet Southern, if Southern
Yeah,
can
yeah,
score
yeah.
15, and you can't lose them both. 'Cause you
Right,
get
so I'd go
45.
under obviously on that one. I mean, I would have gone under no matter what.
LSU will shut it
60
down.
points. You think LSU's going to score 60 points?
That's what I was going to say. Don't you think there's a little bit of like, hey, thanks for coming. We're good. You're good. We don't need to run up the score here.
I didn't even look at the weather. What's the weather supposed to be like tomorrow?
like it is.
I would
He said
imagine
it's
by
supposed to
game
be
time fine.
It's
How
like
about
50%
before? I think it's
chance
supposed to
of
rain a little
rain.
bit during the day.
If it doesn't rain tomorrow, and dude, the weather today was perfect.
Yeah.
It was
And then
like
it
nice
started
out there,
raining, yeah.
right? Until it rained, but like humidity was
Yeah.
down. It felt good. Like
Yeah.
starting to feel like fall a little bit.
Hey, this morning felt awesome.
I think tomorrow LSU Southern has a chance to be one of the best tailgating days
I
on
agree.
campus.
That's what I said.
I think it's going to be
I said-
unbelievable,
I've said
bro.
I've said that a while.
There's going to be a lot of partying, a lot
I
of
feel
music.
like
People
everybody
loving each
in Baton Rouge will be on this side.
Absolutely.
What's the line to the,
Did you get your link? I have the link. What do you need?
I'm trying to find the line to the Alabama-Texas game. I want to talk about the Texas game. I was gonna
20
ask
I
him.
saw. 20 I
20,
saw
is it
last.
still 20?
I don't know. Let me see.
Opened at 16.5. Currently at 20.
What did it open at?
16.5.
Yeah, let's pull that up and let's talk. We can
That's what I was trying to do.
Let's see.
Where's the link? Is
It's
it on
in
there?
the document.
Scores and
Don't do that because it wasn't.
NCAA football. What's the rotation number, Law? Do you know?
What's the what?
Rotation? I got it.
know if that
Line
was-
movements. Here we go.
Yeah, it opened at 16.5.
Yeah.
Got to 20. Bounced around to 20.5. Money
Yeah.
line is. I mean, good luck with that.
Wow.
If you got it, play it.
That's a huge number. Now, right when those numbers come out, a lot of times the offshore books will come out first. And the offshore books will let people kind of bet it and beat it up and see where it goes. And then those, the Caesars and MGMs will come in after. But it opened at 16.5. It actually went to 15, Lloydies. No, mind. Nope. That was back in, hold up. That was in May 17th.
So the current line's 20.
Current line's 20.
Let me see what it opened that game week of. Here we go.
It went to 20 and a half and then bounced
18.
back down
So it
to
opened at
20,
18. It opened at 18 on Monday. So it got down as low as 15 on the early lines, but it probably limit you on like $300 or $500 or something. Right.
So then it's at 20.
18
Do you
to
like
20.
that?
To be honest, man, I haven't watched either one of those teams this year.
I mean, I guess you. I mean, yeah.
It's in Texas.
Yeah.
And it's 10
Here's
a.m.
my 10
a.m.
thing.
kick.
Here's my thing.
10 a.m. kick.
10, 11 a.m.
11
one of the
a.m.
two.
kick.
11 a.m.
So here's my thing. I like the over is, where's the over at? Over 65.5, right? Here's why I don't know if I want to bet the over, but Steve Sarkisian to me has an opportunity to. I'm not saying they're going to win by any means, but has an opportunity to score some points on Bama's defense only because he has been there and he understands it. He's a very good offensive coordinator.
Did you hear what Nick Saban said when somebody brought that up?
What?
He said, "What makes you think I don't know everything about him too?"
I mean, no, I'm not saying. But I'm just saying that I think that they have ability to like put up some points. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to be. I think the first half Bama is. I think that you should bet first half Bama. I don't know what that is, but first half Bama comes off fucking on fire.
Dude, we talked about it. I think they might have covered every first half.
Every
first
week,
half.
dude.
I think they're 23-1 or something.
First half?
Yeah, it's something crazy. But it's 10 and a half.
I was watching.
I would take 10 and a half.
Maybe at
It's a
lunch
terrible
today.
number.
It was at lunch today. I really wasn't watching the TV. I just caught a glimpse. Is the kid who transferred
From
Ohio State
he's
starting at
starting.
quarterback?
Yeah,
You're whatever.
You
He's a freshman, right? Was from
Sophomore.
Tech.
He's a
Sophomore.
Or
Was
redshirt
from-
freshman.
Was from Texas though. Went
Yeah.
up there and then came back.
He was committed to A&M, right? Wasn't he committed to A&M?
I think, regardless, he was committed to a Texas
Somewhere in
school,
Texas, then left.
but they couldn't do NIL money.
Yeah.
So if he goes to Ohio State, gets a deal with some sort of sweet tea company, plays like 3 snaps, is able to come back, gets another NIL deal with
At Texas.
and there's a lot of reports that he shouldn't be the guy. Like they like the incumbent that was already there, but because of how much that's been paid, and boosters are like,
You got to pay him.
what the hell? Like,
Let's
what are we
see.
paying for? And he got his Porsche towed.
He's a Porsche?
Yeah, Porsche. Apparently, is how you say
Yes,
it.
it is how you say it.
Which is
Yeah,
so,
when you don't
I
drive
mean,
them, you just say Porsche. Porsche? Is that a Porsche?
The over-under
He got
line
his car.
opened
He got
at-
his car
I ain't
towed
got
during
it.
the
It's
game
not.
last week.
I did read that.
Yeah, Porsche.
The
Porsche.
over-under opened at 61.5.
Porsche sounds
you
like,
go.
Now it's at
sounds like
65
a
and a
very
half.
expensive.
So if you
girl.
had over 61, you'd be liking that one or no?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. The other game that I like, that I'm interested in seeing, where is that? It's the...
Dude, they have no good games tomorrow.
No, they have a couple sneaky ones.
They got a late one. BYU, the best matchup of the day is probably
okay.
BYU
And then Tennessee, Pittsburgh is a good one, too.
Baylor.
Wait, I must say-
Baylor,
but
BYU.
I like the Tennessee-Pittsburgh one.
Me
The
too.
Baptists and the Mormons going at it late, I think. It's like a late kick.
It is a late kick because it's at BYU,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
But what? It's the number 9 team in the country versus what? 24, I think.
I think it was like
BYU
12
is?
versus 20. It might have been some other thing, but I think I saw 12. It was only top 25 matchup.
No. You got 12 and like 15 or 12
Yeah.
and
I
20
think they're
something.
24.
You have,
With
you have
Florida and Kentucky.
Florida-Kentucky's a top 25 matchup.
Yeah.
And
What was I looking at?
Pittsburgh-Tennessee is a top
Tennessee,
25
yeah.
I might
matchup.
have been drinking too much wine. Let's see.
I've been
all right.
drinking too much wine.
Pittsburgh-Tennessee, I mean, I like the Florida-Kentucky matchup.
like that one, too.
That's my favorite one of the week.
I like
That's what I
the
wanna talk about.
Tennessee-Pittsburgh one, but I kind of like the Florida-Kentucky one too.
I wanted to get your
Oh,
opinion.
Tennessee. I got it. It might not have been up.
Why is Baylor catching 3 points? I mean, I know you're not supposed to look at number 9 team in the country, 24 team in the country, but I smell
Damn, they
a
are good.
fucking rat in that trying to bait you to take Baylor.
They do have some good games.
Yeah,
I have
they
no
do.
idea, to be honest with you, man.
But
I
you-
hadn't watched Baylor or BYU.
No, I'm not even asking that. I'm just talking about it as somebody that looks at the board a lot, and when you see a line like that, where you're like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense on the front. They're trying to get people that don't gamble often to see that, like, I'm taking Baylor plus 3.
Man, no, I always, like, people always like, oh, they begging for you to take this. They want you to take this. Like, all Vegas really wants is, man, they're
Action.
making 10%. If they get $1 million on one side, $1 million on the other side, give them
They're happy.
100,000, they're done. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
they got gamble, and they all got gamble, but I feel like you win more money if you know, on the Sunday NFL thing. There's like 3 games on the board every Sunday that the entire world's on, right? There's
Yep.
3 games, like everybody's on that.
7
Just go bet the
o'clock,
opposite
7
every
o'clock.
time. Like the public one, everybody's on one team on the public. Bet the opposite, sit back and relax, and usually get like a backdoor cover late, right?
Scott Van Pelt theory.
It's unbelievable.
Because you catch exactly what you said. You catch the number where it's probably far too high. People bet it up, and then it's like, well, I'm going to take the favorite. They're going to win. They're going to win. I believe they talk themselves into the quote unquote better team without thinking about the points, and then you get to a point where it's like, y'all are ignoring the number.
Well, the word around, in the gambling thing, it's illegal in every state now, so it doesn't really matter, right? But back in the day, it was only Vegas, right? Well, LA's 4 hours from Las Vegas, so LA people were going to Vegas every weekend, and they would always talk about how the USC number was always juiced a little bit more because those people from LA in the car, they got money. It's 4 hours to Vegas. They're all going there to go bet USC. They don't care the lines. 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5. They're just betting it, right? Perfect example. LSU last week. LSU was 3, 3, 3, and bounced to 2.5. They had a game. I pretty much saw 4 all day, right?
4.
The difference between 3 and 4 is a huge, especially in NFL.
For what you got to do.
College, not so much, right? NFL, 3 and 4 is huge. But even in college, the 3, if you laid a 3 and you win by 3, you laid a 4, you win by 3, everybody's partying, be like, damn, bro, I didn't cover. I'm pissed off, right? You boys are partying, they pushed,
Right.
No doubt. Here's crazy, though.
Right,
so Florida, Kentucky, the line opened at 6.5. The current line for that game right now is 6.
What game?
Florida, Kentucky.
Kentucky at Florida, right?
Kentucky
Night
is
game
at Florida.
at Florida, 6
It
o'clock.
opened at 6.5. Now it's currently 6. So Florida's the only favorite. It's favored by 6, right? The over/under opened at 51. It's currently 51.5. So it hasn't moved much.
So at games like that, if you click on scores and odds, you can click on line movements, and it may have gone from 6 to 7.5 during the week, and then it got beat back down to those numbers.
At least on this website that I'm looking on right now.
You're on scores and odds also.
Florida, Kentucky.
Florida,
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. Florida, Kentucky.
Scores and odds. That's what he's looking at?
Is that what
So
you
I'm looking
want?
at it. So the line didn't move much.
No, so that game
All court,
pretty
the
much
whole week?
sat. Yep. That
I'm on
game is
Kentucky.
sat 6.5 all week. So
Yeah.
the game hasn't moved at all.
Right.
pretty
So
much.
when that happens, when you see that, is that like, I'm going to stay away from this thing?
What was?
Because nobody knows what
It
to
moved
do.
a little bit. It was third, fourth. No, actually, no.
You know what I mean? It moved a half a
It
point.
opened at 6.5.
Yep.
Just to show you how quick it came out at 1:39 p.m. on 9/4. 9/4 was Sunday. Was 9/4
Yeah, 5
Sunday?
days ago.
5 days ago, yeah.
6.5. An hour later was 5.5.
See, you
Got
can't
down
do
to
it.
5. Went down to 4.5. So Florida's been as low as 4.5.
Wow.
So it went down to 4.5 and stayed 4.5 for a while. Total moved a little bit. 4.5 for a long time. And then now it's back up to 6.
6.5.
Yeah. Now, a lot of times, though, this is cool, too.
I took it at 7.
A lot of times, too, when you see numbers move, they'll move them on purpose. They will bet a game to get a number. Say that Florida game is 6, and they like it at 4.5. Or say they like 5. Their computer spits out the number should be 5. By the way, let me back up a little bit. The Smart Money, if you'd like to read a book, The Smart Money is about the computer group and how all this sports betting stuff got started. And the way the computer group was, Vegas had their own lines, and then the computer group had their machine that said the line should be this, right? So if the computer group's line said the line should be 4, and Vegas says the line is going to be 7, they're going to bet +7 until that number gets to 4. And when it gets to 4, they would stop betting it. But that was their number. They trusted their computer more than with Vegas.
Right.
Yeah. Michael Connick writes the book. It's called The Smart Money. It's unbelievable if you like sports betting.
Pretty fire.
Yeah. So a lot of times when you see numbers move, it could be that they're setting a number up to get to the number they want.
Well,
so if you see a number fly down and it gets there and then all of a sudden it comes flying back up, they wanted a certain number.
Right.
And they got that number.
So my question, for someone that's like a normal person that's not as educated as you.
So basically you're saying if it started at 7 and it goes down to 4.5 and now it flies back up to 6, that's probably where they wanted.
They probably wanted to get it to 5 or 4, and they got it there and they bet it and it went back up.
Right.
Okay, so
I'm not saying that's always the case. They will move the number themselves sometimes.
So here's my question: if a number doesn't move much, like this,
if it just sits still,
like this, like if it went half a point here, half now. For you said early in the week it moved a few points, but like for the most part,
that line's pretty sharp.
The line is at 6. So do you stay away from that and say,
I mean, depends how much I've been drinking that day, what time the game's on. Like, I'm betting something.
Right, but like that game, like
it might not be 1,000 or 2,000.
Yeah,
I am putting some.
So you're putting some on almost all the games.
If I'm gonna sit down and watch it, I'm gonna bet something.
Yeah.
You know,
because like
amount that's gonna make me upset or
because nobody knows
what
the fuck
information. If I don't have information, or I don't have an edge, or I think I have an edge where I can beat the number by half a point to a point, and I'm just sitting down to gamble on it, I'm not gonna bet what I normally bet.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
I think I like the under in that one.
The more you can understand betting the number or beating the number, like if you sit down and watch a game, even if you don't have number on, go look and see what the number did, see what it opened at, and see what it closed at, and watch how many times that number's gonna fall to where the general public pushes or loses. But the guys that bet it early and beat the number, they're going to win. That matters long term.
So you have some people who come out there and they're online all the time and they're posting all their picks, they're posting all their records and say, oh, you need to subscribe to me to buy my picks.
If sports betting was legal, tell them call me, set them up. Like you're not. A lot of those guys though, like those hotline services, right? They call and they give you game A and they give you game B. One of you guys gonna win, and they're happy. You know what I'm saying? That's
right.
I got videos in my phone. They'll call me like, "Hey, this is so and so from Vegas," and bro, I'll keep them on the phone for like 9 or 10 minutes. I just keep egging them on. Like, yeah. If they were any good, they wouldn't be selling their picks.
Right.
They'd be betting them themselves.
Yeah.
They can make more money betting than selling them.
Right.
Which is
if
why
you're any good, you're not going to sell. If I got good information, why would I give it to you or to you or to you?
Right.
I'm not giving information.
now you're fucking
I'm
up the
going to
number.
bet it.
Yeah.
Those guys selling picks are fraud. They're all frauds. Now listen, they're good at marketing. I'm not knocking their business model, but they're frauds at giving winners. They're not great. They got some decent handicappers out there with good information, you know? There's some guys on Twitter you can follow that give really good information, but by the time it's out there and you look at it, like, oh shit, let me go bet it.
Yeah, right, it's too late.
The numbers move 3 points.
All
Like,
right,
what's the point?
So, and that's perfect because my question to you now is to let people know, like, we have a good idea. We've talked about this stuff a good bit. Let the people know, like, what do you mean by betting early? What's early? What do you constitute as early? What do you constitute as beating the number, getting ahead of the
Man,
the
like,
movie?
you're never going to beat. You got to get tied in with the right people. And, like, I'm not super sharp. I'm not picking these picks. I got tied in with the right guys when I played poker. And I was a firm believer nobody could win. Like, bookies always win. Like, Vegas been around forever, man.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, rather
those
be a
guys
bookie
winning
than a
aren't
gambler.
lighting up these Vegas casinos, right? You go look. And honestly, though, but, like, when Vegas posts every month, like, hey, these are the winnings from Vegas, you know, penny slots is what wins all the money. Like,
Right.
sports betting, those
Did you
casinos,
see that post?
it's unbelievable, dude. Penny slots are unbelievable how much
it's
they
not
win
even
penny
close.
slots.
It's almost like 60% of
That's
it.
why
It's not
they
even
get
close.
paid. That's
Oh,
why-
yeah, it's crazy.
Oh,
It's
like,
unbelievable.
Sports books are getting, like, back in the day, and they talk about it in the smart money. Back in the day, a sports bettor would get full room and board beverage. So, like, if you bet a lot of sports, they'd give you free rooms, free food, free nothing. Or if we go out to Vegas this weekend and we go bet, we betting $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a game. You're gonna bet $5,000 in a game. He's like, here's one drink ticket. Congratulations. No, seriously, like, you're not getting a free rum. You know, they want
Right.
the guys penny slots,
want-
blackjack,
Yeah, right.
shooting
They want you
dice.
there for 18 hours, just
Yeah.
pouring money.
There's too much information. Like, sports betting back in the day, there was no internet, there was no Twitter.
Right.
So the guys on the know,
No
like,
injury reports, none
no
of that.
injury reports. Like, for example, ended up losing, but opening week, what game was it? Before it came out, was it Florida Atlanta? They had 20 players suspended. They were playing North Carolina. Who did North Carolina play in week 1?
Appalachian State?
No, pull it up real quick. Before that,
Week 0.
week zero. North Carolina played. Florida
There
A&M.
you go, Florida. Yeah.
Florida A&M had 20 players. Florida A&M had 20 players suspended. I was on the golf course and I couldn't. Everybody kept rejecting it. The line was 34. We're trying to bet it. The line was 34. The line posted at 44. But we bet it before the play. Like, the information's out there. Like,
Right.
you know, the student manager might text his friend who texts this, and then Florida A&M had 20 players suspended.
Right.
That kind of stuff's out there. You know.
Gotta get in on it. That's why
have
you
to
have
get
scores-
It's a
scores and
grind,
odds.
though.
So
But like
the
back
earlier,
in the day,
the earlier the better.
100%. Back in the day, they didn't have Twitter. They didn't have internet. So, like, the guys that were in the know had all the information,
Small
and they could just
circle.
go do whatever they wanted,
Right.
you know?
See, you only get this information here. Not only. But this,
But,
is, good. This is good stuff.
I've
Well-
heard stories. Don Best, if you pull up Don Best, the Don Best screen is like the gambling screen that shows every casino in the country what they currently carry the line
I'm
at.
saving all these stats.
Caesars, MGM, you know, they have all this. This casino has this number, this number, this number. I've heard stories from back in the day that, like, those guys, when the sharps were betting, they would get down what they wanted, and then they would say, all right, you can move the number. So after they bet what they wanted a number, they would not know them. Maybe rumors, but Don Best would hold a rumor is Don Best would hold a number until those guys got what they wanted, and then they'd move the number. Probably all rumors, but
maybe not.
That's
Makes
old
for a
school,
good
that's
story.
old school casino
Yeah.
style.
Maybe not.
Yeah. If you don't
Saints-
think everybody's kind of running around like that's in the know, greasing palms, I mean, it's the dirty underbelly.
Don Best is sharp, though. Don Best is great. That's why you can watch the Don Best screen. A lot of people, you can watch the Don Best screen and see when the numbers start moving. If you got like a local guy, call him and say, hey, what you got this number at? And he just got the number from, he prints the sheet out at 7 o'clock in the morning. He never changes. He never changes his number. Like the number's 3 points off. You're like, all right, dude, I'll take so and so. I got a buddy of mine. He's in a pick'em league, and the pick'em league uses the lines from like Tuesday morning. Well, he waits till Friday to put his picks. He's like, call him. He's like, I'm like, bro, just go pull up Pinnacle, see what the Pinnacle line is, see what the office football pool has it at, and just take the difference. You win. Like it's over.
Right.
You know?
Saints are 5.5-point favorites on Sunday against the Falcons, right?
Yeah. That's at Atlanta.
They opened at 3.5.
Saints gonna be good, boys.
Current 5.5.
Well, and I think a lot of that comes from like the line moving from 3.5 to 5.5. Is everybody in the media has been saying, "Oh shit, Saints are gonna be good."
All right, so that was the line. All right, NFL. That line opened at 3.5.
Yeah.
And it went to 5.5.
Yeah.
And you got 3.5. That's a winner.
Yeah.
Not every time, but
Right.
the percentage is way
That's probably
dude. NFL. If you can beat an NFL number by 2 points,
Hey,
it's unbelievable.
it opened at 3.5, went to 5, 5.5, 5.5. Is currently at 5.5. So like it didn't even creep up.
If
It jumped up.
if you can beat an NFL number by 2 points, that's game over.
Over under stay pretty is 1.
And I'd imagine that number is higher than the 58% clip too, right? Because you're not going to catch
Bro,
that
NFL, yeah, you're gonna win at way higher than 58%. I would think.
on a 2-point difference.
In NFL,
Yeah.
Right.
you beat an NFL number by 2 points. NFL is sharp. Come Sunday, that NFL line's pretty much locked in.
Right.
Damn, most of these Browns.
NFL does it the best product on TV. Another thing about NFL and back to betting. How many teams do they have in NFL?
32.
32. They're all professionals.
Yep.
They got 32
Yep.
teams. They got they got bye weeks. So
It's
there's less
easier.
than that,
It's
right?
easier.
They have so much information on all these teams, what these players do. Those lines are locked in. College football has 117 Division I teams, and then you got all these FCS games.
Yeah.
Oh,
How did the Browns open at 3.5? And this is more about like what changed. I know there's a lot
Baker.
of money. Yeah, but they announced it earlier, way early.
Don't talk about the starter being named for Carolina.
Yeah, but didn't they announce that earlier before the week started?
Yeah. I was just throwing a guess out.
when's the last time the Patriots been underdog to the Dolphins?
I know. I don't know. Dan Marino.
Well, they're like 2-8 there. And they're
Oh yeah, they stink against the
they
Dolphins.
don't play well there. At all.
But the Browns opened at 3.5. 3.5 point favorites. It's a pick 'em now.
Yeah. Baker's gonna beat the brakes off them boys.
Yeah, he is. I know that's your favorite quarterback, Jay.
Starter, QB1.
I think he look.
You don't like Baker?
He doesn't like Baker. Listen, I don't think Baker's the best quarterback in the league, but I think that last year is not even close to how like him. I'm not.
Yeah, but I don't. So we could just keep getting this thing right, dude. Like my dislike for Baker does not come off of I think he's just a terrible quarterback.
I think
Right?
he's a bad actor.
I think that he's way too. And this is just me. I think that he's way too worried about being the biggest star on every team that he's in, and it hinders him from being the quarterback.
I can get on
I
board
think
with
this
that.
year's gonna be different, dude. You plan and you got Odell there, you got Jarvis, who had Nick Chubb. Like I think that was a bad fit. Is Baker the best quarterback in the league? Not even close.
But that's my point, though. So like he's gonna go here and he's gonna go scorched earth because he understands that I don't have another shot after this. If I
That's
don't
it.
win here, my point to that is that's my point. So like when we surrounded you with all these stars, you
pick 'em.
couldn't get it done because you were too
That's what I
worried
just said.
about being
Minus three and a half
the
to pick
biggest
'em.
star there. Not just understanding like, hey, bro, at the end of the day, if you're a really good quarterback, all you really are is a fucking point guard. Just fucking get rid of the ball. Put it in the other guy's hands. Let them do what they need to do. Let them go look like the star because they just make you look good.
Damn, both of those games had big. A lot of these other ones.
That's what
didn't
Josh
move
Allen
at
did
all.
last night.
Dude,
Think about it.
Speaking of Josh Allen,
Think about
Bro,
it. Just get rid
he's
of
the
the ball.
best quarterback in
I'm
the league.
like, I know we're running out of time, but I want to talk about that, dude.
Josh Allen is a freak. When
He's the best quarterback in the
he
league.
wasn't even running hard. He
was
didn't have,
laughing, bro. He was smiling on the field.
He switched hands.
Held the ball like
Run
a
it
I'm gonna be honest with
bread,
you. You know what he looked
sniffed
like?
on the
You know what he
fuck
looked
out
like
of this guy.
yesterday more than anything more than I've seen him look like this in the past. He looked like a size-wise Cam Newton that is a better decision maker
Better
and
thrower
way
for sure.
more accurate.
Yeah.
That's what he looked like.
Yeah.
That, like he was smiling, laughing, running, doing what he wanted.
Stiffed arm this guy 4 yards off.
The pick he threw was even in the dude's hands.
Like Josh, we talked about. We had just said he had like 11 completions in a row. He throws it at the dude's chest and bounces off.
And the guy was trying to make a tackle, and the ball just bounced in his arms.
Yeah, and he can put the touch pass. He can land the curveball. He can throw the fastball. Like he was doing whatever he wanted to do.
I said this 2 years ago. I even put it in our group text. I said it. I said it last year on Jordy's show in the morning, but I also put it in the group text. Really, probably the year before, maybe the beginning of last year, and I said, I think that he is a better quarterback. I think he's more talented than Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, I'm about to say, because this year we'll find that out.
Yes.
The reason why I say this year we'll find that out.
We'll find out if he's a better quarterback this year.
This year we'll find that out because, like I said, like we didn't start seeing this until you enter a Brian Daboll, until you enter an all-pro receiver.
No doubt.
And look, Josh Allen's great.
No doubt.
But now we're going to see if Patrick Mahomes can elevate these other guys too.
For sure.
So we'll find out who's the
For
better
sure.
quarterback.
And I rephrased my comment.
Which is what, 100%.
I rephrased my comment, and I said, okay, I don't mean quarterback takes a lot more into it than just strictly talent. I think he is the most talented quarterback in the NFL. He's faster.
He's the most dangerous quarterback there is.
I say more
He's like
talented
6
than
foot
Mahomes.
6.
He's the most dangerous quarterback
He's
there is.
bigger, faster, stronger, has a better arm than Patrick Mahomes, than everybody else.
And look, here's the thing.
Not faster than Lamar, but
even
whatever.
if you want to sit here and say, all right, his arm and Mahomes' arm is a wash, it's the same. Okay, well, who's the better runner?
Right.
I don't even really think that's close.
No.
It's not even really close.
No.
Right? So if we're just going to go off of that alone, well, now we just find out who the better quarterback is.
Always say, okay, quarterback, obviously Mahomes won the Super Bowl. He has an MVP, all this stuff. Like, that goes into it. But as far as strictly talent, I think
Bills stay healthy this year. You boys going to get them a Super Bowl.
I agree.
Hey, the Bills look like an
What are they to
absolute
win? What are they to win
juggernaut
right now? They got to be like 3 or 4 to 1.
Yeah.
What are they to win it?
They're favorites.
They were the favorites.
They're the favorites.
I
They're
don't
the
know if
favorites for sure.
I don't know if it went up. It probably the odds probably went down a little bit after last
600,
night.
I believe.
NFL
600.
Is it 6 to 1?
Yeah.
And they straight boat race the team who's going to finish probably at least over 500 this year.
Oh, for sure.
That's my
that team's
point.
a good football
They
team.
straight
just
boat
got,
race.
Oh yeah, they'll be fine.
That's a good football team.
They may be in the NFC
They
Championship.
made it
game.
look like it was a team
no
that
doubt.
didn't belong in the game.
No doubt.
We gotta
But Josh Allen's a badass. He's a stud. I mean, he's my favorite quarterback in the NFL, behind Joe Burrow.
So back to what we talked about
Behind
earlier about these players and where they play college football at. This dude played at Wyoming. Like, how did this kid not hit? You know what I'm saying?
That was his only scholarship offer.
And back to like Aaron Rodgers though. Aaron Rodgers one of the best ever played. Dude went
to Cal.
JUCO and then Cal.
Yeah.
I'll keep saying this, and I've asked like former teammates about stuff like this. I go, what is the difference between college football and NFL football? And they all say the box. Literally just the box. The size, strength, and speed in the box is the
unbelievable.
complete difference. So when you come to college football, it's the same thing. Like when you
Yeah.
go to the SEC, it's the box. You might have a scat receiver at Southern this weekend that is a
Unbelievable freak.
electric.
Yeah.
Right? But when we talk about the box, is where the game gets won and lost and dominated or not dominated.
First time I
That's where
came on the show, we said that you can usually watch a football game and watch the first 2 possessions of the game and watch it the 2 line of scrimmage and watch it, and you're gonna be able to see like this team is absolutely dominating the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why I love
That makes a
that
lot
the
of sense.
Bills.
Because all those skilled dudes are all good.
Bro,
Like,
you can
good
find them all
receivers.
over the
doubt.
place, dude.
Yeah.
It's just who can get the ball to the skill position players.
You got to think about it this way too, because like it's kind of how it goes. Like I'm not just trying to be like, if you really think about this thing, like how many dudes do you know that he played high school with, right? That was like very okay or not very good in school, but was unbelievably athletic.
Yeah.
Well, those guys don't end up going to SEC schools.
Right.
No.
They go to
Yeah,
somewhere.
100%.
But you don't usually find the absolute unit that when he walks in the door, everybody's like, "Good Lord,
Yeah.
Right.
what is that kid?"
Right.
You don't find those usually at smaller schools over and over and
Right.
over again.
Right.
And that's where the difference is.
No doubt.
Last night, back-to-back plays, we talked about on one play, the left tackle from the Rams
Von Miller.
stopped Von Miller. Like, dude, he just blew Von Miller up. Didn't even get close
The
to him.
quarterback.
The next play, he pushed him back, sacked.
On skates, sacked him.
Then the next play, he's ripping under him,
Yeah.
going under him like he's
Yeah.
a kid. I'm just like,
It's
how
almost
the hell
like,
we
all
doing
right,
that?
I'm just gonna go at you
Set him
straight
up
up.
so bad,
I'm gonna
too.
go at you straight up and see how you move.
And he did it on
And
purpose.
then I'm
And,
like, okay,
looking-
I'm gonna fuck you up.
Looking back, he probably did it on purpose.
Yeah.
The way he
He was
rushed
setting
him. Like,
him up.
yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, okay, now see where your hands are. Okay, let me slap your hands away, and
Yeah.
now
Let me look dumb on this curveball so you can throw it again, and I'm gonna hit him out.
Yeah,
It's a different game, bro.
it is a
It's
different game.
level.
There's just very more. It's more.
Yeah.
The box obviously is more talent, But also when you get to the NFL, they're more cerebral. They understand how to set somebody up.
Well, and just
right?
like we were talking earlier too, they understand. They watch film. They see this stuff. Like when they watch film, they get the behind the goalpost view. They get the side view. So they know, like, hey, those splits are reduced. They're probably doing this.
Right.
This and this is going on. They can.
Oh, it's a
pick up on
chess
the little-
match.
Like,
Bro. They
here's
watch
an
so much
example.
film. Oh,
Here's an example that's not it's baseball related, but it's similar as far as setting people up and like the more you, everybody can hit if you're in the big leagues, you can hit a hanging breaking ball for a home run, right? Everybody can. Like it's just, or 99% of the guys can, right? The difference, though, I've seen when I played in Detroit, I'll never forget this. Mikie looks stupid, fooled on a breaking ball. Like
to make him throw him one again.
Hey, he gets in the box. He gets out, and he looks at me, and he winks at me. Next pitch, same pitch, 450
That's when
feet
you
home
knew,
run.
that's when you're like, I'm in a different game.
Oh my God.
Well, this is a different ball game.
Right? Like, it's only because
This ain't Allie's boxing.
yeah,
Oh,
shit,
bro.
right. It's only because he's been there.
He did it on
He
purpose.
knows like
But somebody else told him that, or like somebody,
no doubt.
some veteran.
The great ones know how to do this.
100%. Absolutely, bro. It's a different game.
But you have to be able to do it. Like
Yeah.
like if I did it, I wouldn't trust myself enough to say, okay, I'm gonna
take a
do
great
it,
swing on
and
the next
then-
one.
And like that's just it's.
I love stories
The
like that, by
elite
way.
of the elite. Like he looked at me because I was on the top step and he winked at me. Next pitch, hanging breaking ball, 450 feet. I'm like, oh my God.
So stuff like that, like as a normal fan, we watch these games, right? And like you watch an NFL game or Major League Baseball game, these guys are all professionals. Y'all are all professional players.
Right.
There is something that happens in the course and scope of that game. Might be one play that the normal fan doesn't see, doesn't pick up. The guy taking lead at second base, he's picked the signals up. He notifies the batter, hey, bro, fastball coming, right? And he hits the fastball to right field for a 2-run shot.
Right.
The normal fan watching the game doesn't know that
know
the
nothing
guy.
about stuff
Or
like
even
that.
in football, it's all
Well,
football. It's
so
a
for
chess
me,
match.
like that's what's so funny about me. Like I love when I hear people say, especially when it's like a play that's on script, not something that you roll out and stuff like the play Josh Allen makes last night.
not
He rolls
happy
out,
on the
throws
OT
it,
right
it's
now,
underthrown a little
really?
bit.
Yeah.
I love when
You're
I
not
hear a
happy that
normal
we're in
fan
the
say, "Oh my God, dude,
Gambling.
you see how he just put that ball right on the money?" I go, "Do you understand that in practice in quarterback individuals, there's a trash can or
He's
a
throwing
target,
into,
and they sit there and they throw into that all day.
Yeah.
So they're not necessarily watching this guy. They need to know when he gets there in a way, but they're trying to hit a spot down the
doubt.
field.
It's like Curry shooting
All
threes.
day.
Like, Curry
Right.
hit 9
All
threes.
day.
It's unbelievable. How many 3-pointers you think Curry shoots a
All
day
day.
at practice? You know?
I was like, that's what he does all day. So like, you gotta understand, like you're seeing it like, oh my God, he put it. I'm like, no, that's all he does. That's literally all he does.
Throw it to a spot.
They're throwing to a spot.
we talked a little
It's
bit.
hit the step, let it go. It's got to be going by a certain spot. Like that's
we
it.
talked a little bit about it off air before the show started, and we're talking because we were talking about like splits and like the extra points at LSU, whatever, and we're talking about how based off the course of the game of things that have happened, right? A guy on the offensive line, whether he knows it or not, may shorten or widen his splits because he understands, damn, this guy keeps beating me or he keeps getting me, whatever it is, right? He doesn't know that he's doing it, but he's doing it, right? But the savvy veteran defender, and you see this a lot in the
Picks
NFL
up
because
on that.
they say, oh, damn, this guy's got his feet more narrow. He's fucked.
It's over.
Or this guy's here, okay, this is the move that I'm going to go.
You listen to, for the listeners and everybody, like you listen to LaFell talk about that. He said, when you're going through camp, it gets old. Reason why a lot of offenses suck in camp is because I'm running the same routes.
Every
They
time,
know all my moves. They know what I'm doing when I try to change my splits. They know exactly what the quarterback's voice sounds like. They know exactly what his cadence sounds like. They know all that stuff.
Right.
So the defense they have the advantage in that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what it turns into. But that's why when you watch football games, it's so funny to me why people think like football players aren't smart. Because when you pull on a game on Sunday, the only way you get to play at that speed and play that well and be that good is to be able to play freely mentally.
100%.
Which means to be able to play freely mentally, you have to watch film. You have to kind of
Absolutely.
understand what's going on. You have to be able to know what's going on before it happens to just fly.
And once you get to that point of understanding that, like schematics, understand like how to be able to play without worrying about what you're supposed to do, then you get to the next level of like, okay, now when I watch film, I'm not only watching what they're doing and how they're going to attack me, I'm going to watch how the guy in front of me reacts to different moves or what he does when he gets beat. Okay, does he do this? Now once I see these tendencies, it's over because once I see that,
does he do that?
Exactly.
Okay, boom,
Well,
there we go.
NFL too. A lot of times, like there's some teams that aren't as good as other teams, and you got to match up, and this team's supposed to beat the hell out of this team. And then this team who hadn't won very many games, they come in and just absolutely, completely dominate the game, right? They saw something that week watching film, and they picked up on it, and they exploited the shit. And they exploited the shit out of it, right?
And as you said, too, like the NFL, I think more than any other league, too, it is such a game of matchups. Like, some of these teams, like we said, we've heard Dennis Allen say they've literally built that defense for years to beat Tom Brady.
Absolutely.
Well, what happens when Lamar Jackson comes in town?
100%.
They didn't build it to beat him.
But you might play him once a year.
You might get him once.
You don't play.
That's what I'm saying. So like they're not built for that. They only got a week to figure you out. Like
it's like the Eagles. It's like the Eagles. Every time we play the Eagles, they run it down our throat.
Yeah.
The same sort every time.
Because what they do good, how they build that team, ain't good for what we do.
You win your division, you get in the playoffs. You get in the playoffs, you got a shot.
Yep.
Because that's how the game goes. You got to think about it. Like you said, you win your division, right? You're going to play 2 games of 4 teams in your division. That's 8 of your games. Hey, if I can go 6-2 against y'all and scratch out maybe 3 or 4 more wins, we in.
Yep.
Yeah.
We in. That's all I got to do. I don't care about out of division. That's all I got to do.
Giants Patriots. Like whenever the Giants won the Super Bowl, like they were a terrible matchup for what the Patriots did because like we can get home with 4.
Yeah.
Right.
And if we know we can get through these
Here's
3
the deal,
games and
though.
get there.
Here's the deal, though. If you can get home with 4,
you can get home with 4. You're
difficult for
a lot of teams.
Yeah.
If you can get a quarterback with 4 people, the game's over. It's over.
But for some schemes, it's easy. Like they have a scheme to get away from that.
Right.
Tom Brady has to be on the spot to be able to make a throw. I can even go to Vikings and the Saints when they played in the Dome. Drew Brees getting pressure up the middle with 4. Like they got home with 4 every time. He couldn't get the ball out of his hands.
Right.
And they had like double A pressure every time. Drew Brees, get him off a spot. That's how you beat the Saints.
All right, I was late getting here, so we might have talked about it before. LSU Florida State game. If I'm the athletic director of Florida State and they do not win that game, I am firing Mike Norvell before he leaves.
Oh, because of the toss.
Bro,
mistakes happen. They're all growing.
The game,
That's
even when he went for
that's a play call.
even in the
That's
first
strictly
half,
from them.
even in the first half when he went for the way we're playing, I'm putting 3 points on the board. He went for it on 4th down. We stopped.
That was a bad call too. That was actually a very bad call.
Think about the things that happened in the last minute and a half of the game. The four individual situations were probably all less than 5% to happen.
Yep.
We fumble a punt. The game's over after we fumble it. They toss the ball. Just kneel the ball. It's over.
Kneel and kick the field goal. It's
They
over.
toss it. Event number 2, probably less than 5% to happen. Maybe like 1 or 2%. We drive the ball 99 yards.
On a minute and 20 seconds.
10 seconds, 20 seconds.
And got to keep all 3 timeouts.
Well, we had 2.
We only had
Two.
Yeah.
Right? And then if they rule when the guys went out of bounds, if they rule it correctly, the game's probably we might not get the snap.
No,
off
you do.
clean.
You have. They announced that they have to get 1 second's enough to
We
get
get
it
it
off.
off. We get it off.
But
if it's not out of bounds and they don't review it, you got to run to the line, have your play ready to go. If they just,
And he called timeout.
we didn't have one.
No, Mike Norvell did.
Oh, at that point.
He called timeout because he realized,
wanted them
okay,
to
he
look
can
at
snap
it.
it.
Yeah.
He realized they can snap it.
They got to
anyway.
review it. Okay, he's in. We got 2 seconds. At that point, we had it. So we score, and I never would say this. I'm always
I know
in your
what
home
you're
stadium, kick the extra point, go. At that point, the way the game played out, we drove it down the field.
They ain't
99.
stopping us.
I'm going for 2.
Yeah,
There's
I get
no
that.
way, and we had already gotten 1 blocked. There's no way I can get it at that
I understand that, and listen, we talked about it too. Like, not one time in my head did I think, we should go for 2.
And I normally would never say go for 2 at that point. I just think the way the game played out, you went 99 yards, but they were defeated.
But here's the thing.
Was defeated.
Here's where I guess this is where the problem of that comes is. If you're just looking at LSU Florida State, it's probably not the wrong move, right?
No.
But my only but is this. But
okay.
good luck hiring the right person to talk that kicker off the cliff for the rest of the year. Because he's still going to have to make some kicks for you.
One thing for sure is we got to talk about the cliff right now, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, no doubt.
But you actually missed it.
But that wasn't his fault.
I
Yeah,
agree, but you know,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's where you run into that where it's just like, well, if we tell him he can't do it here, well,
Yeah.
I felt terrible for the neighbors.
Yeah, but what did
I
you?
felt
What did
terrible.
you?
I can't tell. I'm
terrible.
gonna be honest with you, and that's why
He was so
I kept
defeated.
saying
Yeah.
this because I'm like, dude, I don't really usually feel bad for like, dude, we're all out here doing.
Yeah.
They're all out there doing the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's just, but when you see something like that, that's just not.
And
that's
like,
not
because you know he cares,
real.
and then, but
What
the best
I did
thing,
love though is B. Kelly put him back out there and went to him
the
back
next
to
2
back.
plays.
Love that.
And that was the first thing he said. Hey, you know, if I'm him, I'm putting neighbors back out there, and I'm giving him the ball the first time, and
100% he did.
I do respect it, and that's what I like because he understands. Listen, Brian Kelly said in his press conference. This is the last thing I'm gonna say before because we have to wrap up. We're in overtime. When Brian Kelly's been talking in his press conferences and giving quotes throughout the course of the week, he said, "Listen, Malik Neighbors, he's still out there.
100%. I
He's
agree with
returning
that.
punts at practice.
Absolutely.
You know, like
I mean, he's only back there.
Yeah.
You think he's been doing that every day
No
in
doubt.
practice?
Like, if he would have been fumbling in practice, I'm not putting him out there. Just,
No,
bro,
that's just how it goes.
happens.
all right, we're in the OT. It looks like there's another party coming in here. So
Spend some money betting. Post that Telegram
yeah,
thing. People
post
can join the
Telegram.
Telegram link. Good.
post Telegram link. Look at it. Look
Do
at
I
the
have
numbers.
to- do
Look
I
at the
have-
trends. Bet.
Do I have to join?
Since you're not hooked up with anybody else, use LSU Full on the Caesar Sportsbook app if you haven't bet. We're going to try to get with Caesar and try to get you a promo that you can actually bet that you already are a member, since you already
that
are
would
signed
be
up.
ideal.
But if you haven't signed up, please sign up. Use the app. Use the promo code. Thanks for tuning in. We're not going to do the segments because we're running out of time. We went a little over time. You don't have one in there anyway. Curtain calls for the boys. This is a great Friday. Great Friday. Curtain calls for the city of Baton Rouge for the weekend. It's going to be a fun weekend. All right, you're watching Mik'd Up. We're brought to you by Sterling Automotive. We'll see you on Monday. We're going to post the link. Hopefully we'll put it on our Twitter. Post it out there on socials. Enjoy this weekend. NFL opening weekend.
LSU gets a win?
Yes. They better. If they don't get a win. If they don't get a win, I'll come in here and say they should fire Brian Kelly.
Oh,
Yep.
I'm going to cut just
All right.
that part.
Mike,
They
no,
should
do
fire
not
Brian
do
Kelly.
that. Mik'd Up brought to you by Sterling Automotive. We'll see you next week.